I'm really excited about this interview today because today this is a really special deck that will mean different things to different people. So today we are talking about Cancer Courage with Liz Carren. So Liz, let's get right to it. Why did you want to make this card deck?
Well, I'm a cancer survivor myself, and during the process of the illness, I did a lot of visualization artwork, and it was totally different artwork for me, and it changed my artwork, changed my process, changed my life. And it was a really beautiful, powerful body of work when I was done. So I wanted to make it affordable for everybody, and the card deck made that possible versus large prints for commercial or oncology offices or hospitals or whatever. And I
Well,
wanted to get the message and the images across because I want them to help people. I want them to let people understand the journey a little better.
so you were already an artist, already painting,
Mhm.
but when you got your diagnosis, you said you started to paint differently.
Very differently, yeah. Um, my previous passion, I guess would be the word, was a group of characters that I call the Botanical Beauties and Beasties. There's about 35 or 40 of them, and they live in a mythical, magical world called the Tamines, where the mantra is kindness. And it was way before kindness became a big hit and everybody was doing it. And it started out as environmental kindness, and then it turned into personal kindness to yourself and each other and the earth. So I've been doing that, and that's flat. Took photographs of flowers, and I made creatures. Here I happen to have one. I wasn't planning on showing you this, but they turn into creatures.
Oh, I love
Um,
that.
yeah, they're charming. I'm looking to see if there's another one around. There's not
So
another one really close by.
charming.
So there's like I said, 45 of them. And there's a minister of clean air, a minister of clean water, someone that takes care of your heart. I never got to the transportation guy. There's a herbalist that takes care of, beauty and medicinal. There's Zoe, who's queen of the whole. They all have names. There's Mabel, who's CEO of Smiles. I mean, and on and on and on. There's Wisdom, and there's a whole bunch. You can see them all online. They're absolutely still charming. And that's what my artwork looked like for years and years. And I went from that to sort of drawing creatures closer to like some of the things here on the cards. And then I turned into this abstract artist um, with the cancer. And these are all from visualizations, which was a whole new world for me. They're all digital.
Mm,
So it's a total different shift for me as an artist.
yeah. And so, I mean, how did that feel like when you were making the shift from your artwork? What were you thinking?
I wasn't really thinking. I've always liked abstract, so I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. I did think that. But I really was just thinking, what does this feel like? What is this? What
Mm,
am I seeing? I'm sitting in an MRI machine. What does it feel like? I had never been sick. I was that person that was never been in a hospital, none of it. So the whole freaking thing was new to me and scary as hell, as it would be to anybody when you hear those fabulous words
right.
that you have cancer. Um,
Yeah.
so it shifts everything. And a lot of these cards were literally made laying in bed on my iPad. So
Wow. So who are they for?
they're for patients so they can understand a little bit. I want people to understand and see and feel what cancer is a little
Mm,
bit. So somebody would maybe feel not be as alone. Cancer is very isolating. They can know that someone made it through. I'm a cancer survivor, which I now call thriver. Um, so patients to understand and open up a journal from, caretakers to open up conversations, therapists to help them understand or open conversations. I'd love them to end up being in oncology offices and excuse me, hospital offices, all those kind of places, infusion centers, radiation centers, where patients could just pick them up and look at them. Um,
mm. I got the
as
chills
a
on that.
yeah,
That's so amazing.
it would be so amazing. So I'm trying to get some hospitals and people to put it on the line item for next year in their budget, so they could just order a bunch of them and light up
Yeah.
the infusion
It's
center.
fantastic.
So
So I want to know, tell me about this warrior here because I mean, I guess she's kind of abstract, but not really. She's actually really a figure. So like tell me about her because she's on the cover And she's
Yes,
so intriguing, magnificent colors.
thank you. And she's
Yeah.
again very different than all my other artwork. Her name is Survi, Survi, with an accent over the I. Because I wanted her to sound like a Norse goddess. She's my goddess and my warrior. She Her name is, it's the first four letters of survivor. So and I was thought about her for a long time, and I knew I wanted to make a protector, so to speak. And I knew I looked up Greek goddesses and warriors and Helena and a bunch of people, and I looked at a bunch of images. And she took me much longer to draw. A lot of these I draw really fast. She took a long time to come out. But she's holding a sword to with a big C on it for cancer, and a heart, because you've got to have your heart into getting well, and be holding a heart, and hopefully other people are holding your heart as well. So
Wow.
she sits. I have her on buttons and stuff. She goes with me on my shoulder whenever I need her to, metaphysically, so to speak. She's on a little button hanging next to my bed on a drapery, so I see her every morning. I went to a big meeting yesterday, and I have her in my mind's eye that she's with me. She's just, everybody needs a little protector. She's my little angel protector.
Yeah, and I love that one of your cards is what will your warrior look like? So that to me, that is like the most profound, powerful thing is that we all can reach in like and get that strength, right? That maybe we didn't know
Absolutely.
that we had.
You've got to find your inner strength. And this deck is not just about having cancer and getting well. I use that as the target audience, and obviously it was my, what I was going through, and it gives me a niche to try to fill. But they're really about inner strength, positive thought, and one day moving forward. It's one day at a time.
Mm,
Literally, every day is a new day. It's that old, age old adage. That's what I was trying to say.
right, right.
Um, and they're good for any kind of illness. They're good for anyone struggling. I think they're probably good for addiction. I think they're just life cards.
I love that. So there's another card too that really struck me as I was looking through. Um, and that's this one.
Interesting.
And
Why
this
did it strike
is,
you? Yeah.
well, I mean, the white light of healing is that that this was what you just saw going through you during the healing journey, which it's just so it's beautiful. And
Thank you.
it's like if someone sees this, like, wow, okay, so if they can't visualize it for yourself, these really just help them to be able to, tap into what you saw. If they can't, some people can't really visualize, right?
Absolutely.
So
That's why they can use the cards. Right.
yeah,
So
that's
it's
great.
interesting you chose that one. That's the very first one I did.
Ah,
And my cousin, who's a very cool woman, who's actually a therapist, but also, what else is Claudia? A dancer, mandalas, and the whole nine yards, spiritual. And, just, I love Claudia to pieces. And she actually is a maybe even 20-year cancer survivor now, at least 10. And she said to me, "You want to do a visualization?" And I was like, "Sure, Claudia, I'll do anything, anything with you." So she called, she's in New York, and she called me, and we did one, and it was this white light, and that's what I saw, and that started this whole
mm.
process.
Okay.
So
So that was my next question. Like, how did it even begin that you started to like put this onto paper in the
that's
way
what
that you
started. I
did?
thought I need to draw this, and I really didn't want to talk about cancer to everybody, but I
Mm,
wanted them, my friends and family, to, and myself, to understand in a different realm what was going on, what I was feeling, what I was thinking, what I was dealing with. And so I did these illustrations, drawings, impressions, whatever you want to call them, visualizations. Often, I mean, there's a lot of them. There's 52 cards, and there's more illustrations that aren't even on the cards. And I would send out every time I had chemo, so that was every 21 days, a written thing with it as well. And that's how I
wow.
let people know what was going on.
Mm,
So no one had to say, "Hey, how you doing?" Because it's like, I suck. What do you want me to say? I'm getting chemo. I did
right.
amazingly well through it all. I was actually quite well. I did a lot of alternative healing as well, and I wasn't that person that was sick in bed. I was sick in bed for 2 or 3 days a week. I mean, a month. And other
Mm,
than that, I was really basically okay. Radiation was really hard. That wasn't quite the same. Um, but it was a way for me to cope as well, and for me to
mhm.
understand as well, and for me to attach and detach all at the same time. And it's really interesting to go back. I now have a visual and written journal of the year and stuff I would not remember, but I have
Right.
because I have
And
the
how do you
book.
feel when, how does it feel when you're looking back at some of the points that were really difficult and challenging? What does it feel like now?
It feels good because I beat it, and I did it, and I'm really proud of myself. And I think that's the wonders of modern medicine for sure, but it's also partly the patient. And
Mm.
I did it, and so it feels good. It's a good thing.
So how important was having being able to have this creative release process that you did? How important was that to your healing, do you think?
Vital, absolutely vital. And I didn't realize it at the time. And they really are the cards that keep giving, because making the card deck continue to help me heal, and letting me help other people continues to help me heal. And I'm hoping that they help a whole lot of people. So they
Mm,
keep helping me. And I am sure that they were part of healing. And my whole focus now, besides these cards and getting them out, is the intersection of I have a little tagline thing, and I call it the intersection. Well, you won't be able to see it on there, but the intersection. Here, this one's a little bigger. Let's try this one. The intersection and interaction, is it on there? Of
mhm.
medicine,
Mm.
art, and healing.
Well,
Because it made a huge difference for me. And mindfulness is a gigantic topic these days, and that's what this is all about.
so what do you say to the people that say, well, she was an artist, I really can't even draw, so what would I do? What would you say
Say,
to someone like that?
look at that one. So you
I
don't
love
have to
that.
be able to do this.
I love that. I think that's like really super important
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
everyone's an artist, right?
Yeah, this is not,
Mm,
this is not a representational, it's a cancer cell in my world, but it's
right.
not, you don't have to be able to draw the flying bird, so to speak.
I love that. So what was so you had the whole creation of doing the paintings, but then you took it a step further and you said, let me put these into cards. So what was that process like for you then? Because now you're looking back at everything. So tell me about that creative process.
Well, I'm a year out now. Excuse me one second, a card dropped. I'm just going to pick it up. Because it was the warrior card, so
Oh.
right. Um, I've been trying to have an exhibit, and I work a lot with a place here in Annapolis called the Wellness House, which is the most amazing place in the world. And there's a lot of them around. And they're cancer, what would you call them? Houses, I guess. And everything is free if you're a cancer patient, caretaker, whatever, connected to cancer, or as I say, touched by cancer. And Wellness House was amazing. And I did meditation and all sorts of stuff with them all year. And it was also pandemic. So everything was online, which was also perfect because I wasn't really interested in driving anywhere and going anywhere. Or, forget the pandemic. I was having chemo. I couldn't get breathed on no matter what. So then Wellness House saw these images and was blown away. Everyone that sees them is blown away and loves them, to be honest. So I know that I'm on the right track. When we were going to have an exhibit, and I still want to have an exhibit, we haven't quite figured it out. So I did some prints, and I have prints of different sizes, and I have mugs, and I have tote bags, and you can see some of the stuff back there, greeting cards or whatever. But Wellness House and I have been trying for a while to come up with a place to have a big exhibit. And that's a lot of money. You have to get them printed, and I got someone to donate a bulk of the printing, but then they have to either get framed, and on and on and on. So we've been literally battling that as a place and to do it, and the cost and all the rest of it. And then I occurred to me, or I've been thinking about a card deck anyways. It's like this makes the art affordable and can go in everybody's hands, because you can pick up
Oh,
this,
good.
you can have them all.
Yeah.
And you can read the message on the back, and hopefully it all does its job and helps you. And it's about you helping yourself. These aren't going to heal you. But,
Mm.
if you read one and it says, X, Y, and Z, and the bottom is sort of a journal or a conversation, and you think about it, it will help you because a lot of them are actually out of my meditation sessions and things that helped me. This one that I happen to be on the back here, which is Start Where You Are, and it's in the healing section. And it's a wonderful, fantastic poem that starts out, if the mountain seems too big, then climb the hill instead. And it's those kind of messages. And the today section is patience. All you can do is start at the beginning each and every day.
I love it.
So,
So you have categories. So just take
Mhm.
take us through the categories as you were just mentioning them.
um, let me just find the card that's got them all listed. I didn't have that ready. Sorry.
Okay.
Um, Here they are. So this is the second card at. So this is the cover. It'd be shrink wrapped, and then you'd see the owl, who I just like, and it says, "See the knowledge you have inside you, um, inside yourself, and trust it," because you do have to learn how to trust yourself.
Yeah.
Categories are process, which are
Mm.
the actual chemotherapy, PET scans, CAT scans, acupuncture,
Mm.
the
All
actual
the physical things that you have to
physical
go do.
things. And they were in some respects the easiest because I would just lie in the machines and think, what does this
Mm.
feel like? What am I seeing? I just
Well,
close my eyes and think about it, and I'd come home and I'd draw them. So looking to see if one happens to be here. I don't see one right on the top. And then there's a category called healing, which is things that are healing, things that you're doing, what we're all striving for. Then there's courage, because if you don't have courage in life, and particularly in cancer, you're pretty much screwed. You've got to have courage. And they're about doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. And good news, because in the end, I thought we need some good news in these cards. So, they're cards that say you're awesome, and I did it. And I put in a card that actually has me throughout the process, so people know I had these sorted and now I've lost them. I'm sorry. There it is. So I put in this card because I thought authenticity was really
yeah.
important.
Um, I thought when I saw that card too, it's like, it just made them real, right? It's like,
Yeah,
wow, this is someone's journey. This is everyone's journey, right? And this is a
I
real
did it.
person.
Yeah. And this is a good news card because
Yeah.
I read it and that's what it says. I got through. Stand up and shout it out. Strut your stuff. Be brave. Strength breeds strong spirit. Strong spirit leads to self-made heroes, which I really like that
Mm.
saying. And that today is wear your bravery on your face and hold it in your heart. Um,
Mm.
so that's the good news
So,
category. Yep.
so what's the one message then? Like the one message that you're giving to a person with these?
Be positive. Think positive. Positive thoughts really, really matter. You have to think positive. I never thought I wasn't going to not make it. From the day, even though I got a terrible diagnosis, I was 3B, stage, stage three, 3B. B means it moved. And I point blank asked the doctor, and she said 50-50. And I was like, what?
That's in your world, not my world. Wow.
So the funny
Wow.
part about that is I just had torn rotator cuff surgery, as you may or may not know. And the doctor was like upset. He's like, well, it's a really bad tear, blah, 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 blah. And, I can guarantee you 85, 90,
You're
maybe
like,
even
that's your world,
5.
not my world.
And I'm like, that's great. I had 50-50 chance of living. I'll take 90% chance. Sounds good to me. So it's
Wow.
all relative and it's all attitude. And
Yeah,
that's
wow.
part of
That's
what,
beautiful.
another saying I have is, um, it's on the front of the cards actually, or the very top, is cancer taught me many things and creativity helped me heal.
Mm.
It's really true. Cancer teaches you a lot of things about life and perspective, and you get there.
So,
We
so,
didn't finish the categories. Do you want to hear those?
oh, I'm sorry. I thought there were only four. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, there's
Oh,
more.
go ahead. Yeah, please.
Then there's take charge, because you have to
uh,
take charge of your own yourself, and you have to pay attention. You have to be your own advocate. There's good doctors, there's bad doctors. You got to
mm,
decide what else you're going to do or not do. Deep breaths, because you nearly need relaxation and meditation. Mindset power, positive over negative. And determination, because if you don't have some true grit, you're also kind of screwed.
mm.
So those are the categories.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So you've turned to your journey, right? People like to say your message to your message. So, I mean, your this difficult journey you turned into this most positive thing with this beautiful artwork that's behind you right now. Fantastic. So people can see the cards are actually blowing up behind you. But also like this deeper message that, you can do this too, and you can tap into your own,
Your
your
own
own
warrior. You
gifts
find
and
your own warrior. You
your own
find,
voice.
yeah, your own voice. I ended up with belief animals or spirit animals, whatever you want to call them.
Mm,
Those are my wolves, and there's 3 different wolves in the deck, and they changed.
love that.
So yeah, you've got to find your own voice and your own way through the jungle. There's no question about it. And it's a deep jungle and a deep forest. I'm not lying to say it's not. But if you do the work and you get lucky and you have a great doctor, you got a good shot.
Mm.
But
So, what did you learn most about yourself during the creative process?
I really, I always had the belief that creativity could help me heal, but I really learned that it does. I mean, I saw it in action.
Mm.
And then as I said, these are the cards that keep giving. And I have discovered, realized. I was talking to a friend actually at work, and I was like in near tears. And she said something, and I said, well, and she's been watching the card deck progress. I said, if this really crummy 2 years, because a lot of some other really bad stuff happened too, ends up being for a good purpose and helps a lot of people, it will all be worthwhile.
You make me cry now too.
I cry still when I say it. Yeah. So
That's really lovely.
that's
That's
what I
awesome.
learned. I learned
It's
it's about
beautiful.
community. I learned you can't do stuff alone. I mean, I was the classic, oh, I can do this and don't ask for help. That's
Mm,
bullshit. Everybody needs help. Um, and it really is about community. And Wellness House taught me community. So
beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm just from me knowing you for this short time, you really do live that because when you came into the card deck course, you were like right up with, always showed up in the community, um, got an accountability partner, and you guys are like best friends now and supported each other. And
absolutely.
that was a beautiful thing to witness from my end as well. So you're actually living what you're saying. So
Thank you. That's a wonderful compliment. And it
yeah,
continues to grow. I now talk to Lori and Laura, and we're all helping each other. And it's nice,
yeah, it's
really nice.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that connection, that community, and you're just really your creativity. Like if you think when you think about creativity, it's a gift, right? And if you were to hold it back and like, well, I'm not going to share with anyone, like all the people that you wouldn't have met and all the people that you wouldn't have helped. So I think that we're all really blessed and grateful that you dug in deep to come up with this whole other creative side of you that you didn't even know was living in there, right?
No, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I've always known that I'm creative and talented and all that stuff because you hear it your whole life. But
Yeah.
um, it's a different side. Yeah, it's a different way. And I know it's really important to share it. Absolutely. And I know I think differently than most people. And I used to be like, and now I'm like, yay.